Warning: the following video may have language that some viewers may find offensive, and others are already offended. Viewer discretion is advised, but not really. No animals were hurt in the making of this 4-hour feature film.
Are you in the market looking for a property here in St. Thomas, maybe around the area of St. Thomas? First time buying a house? Don't really know too much about the market. Today we got a lot of information we're going to cram into this episode, and maybe you're already a homeowner, and we're going to talk about a pretty cool new business that started up that's going to be very helpful for you. That you're going to be able to call. Basically a one-stop shop, and you're not going to have to worry about who's coming. Are they licensed? Are they good enough? Do they, references, all that kind of stuff. So let's start off with welcoming today Jeff West to the show. He's a local real estate fella, and he's with Street City, and he's also with another guy venturing into this HomeReady Pros. It's called.
HomeReady Pros.
Thanks. Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate this.
Thanks for having me, Tony.
This is pretty cool because I'm really looking forward to getting into this. So, Jeff, let's just start first on the real estate side. Okay,
Sounds good.
We won't talk too much about this, but how is the market right now? I heard it was pretty hot and heavy there for a while. Prices, of course, we saw what prices did after COVID. That was or during COVID was
Ridiculous.
Just made my head shake. Where are we today? I saw it had come down quite a bit, like the buying.
It has.
Buying, selling. What's going on?
Yeah. So now we've shifted into a buyer's market now.
Okay.
So there's much more selection on the market for buyers that are looking. Prices aren't continuing to rise. They're not dropping a ton. Like we're still over $500,000 for the average price in the city of St. Thomas.
Okay.
So values are still higher. We've got a lot more inventory. Higher priced properties are moving much slower.
Okay.
Anything under 400,000 is still selling relatively quickly. Actually, anything under 500,000 is still selling pretty quick.
Okay.
Just a lot of uncertainty with employment. All the talks of the tariffs. People not working is potentially going to be a concern.
Right.
So, it has cooled down a bit. I think now that we're getting over the election and the tariff talk is starting to slow down, the last week even, I'm starting to see a few more showings on some of my properties, which is good.
Okay. Now, are you showing, is it strictly residential or do you also do commercial?
Primarily residential.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of commercial. I sort of, my area of, I guess my specialty is more the selling of properties. I have a few buyers, but it is mostly the listings that I prefer to take on.
Now, what are people actually, do you find people a new home is always nice.
Yep.
To say I've bought a brand new home. Vintage homes, some that are maybe late 1800s, early 1900s now. Those still very popular, and people want that for the character of the home, and there's a lot of stories.
Yeah, for sure. And there are people that love the idea of getting into a century home.
Yeah.
And then there's people that don't really want anything to do with them because they can be quite expensive to keep up.
They can be.
Yeah. Yes. So it kind of depends on the house.
No, I don't know why. I think code may be a little different today.
Absolutely.
Than probably what it was back
yeah, for
then.
sure. For sure it is. For sure it is. And I mean, houses aren't built the same way they were built back then.
Yes.
They go up a lot quicker now.
Yes.
And, there's
I've
higher
actually
standards.
said, Jeff, I'd like to see these new homes today in 120 years from now. Is it even there?
Yeah.
Part of me says it's
unlikely.
There's no way. There's no way it's going to last. Especially some of those old farm ones that you had with the stone.
Yeah.
Stone homes. And man, they are just, absolutely.
Yeah, the house I live in is 138 years old. I live in the original farmhouse in Southwold.
Oh, do you really?
I do, yeah. But we've renovated the whole thing, so
Is it
it's all
haunted?
pretty much up to code. No, I don't believe
Not
so.
haunted?
Haven't seen a
okay.
ghost yet, so
okay, no ghosts.
we're okay.
So we want to find out, right? Okay, so housing market. So what do you find then? A lot of people, is the Century Homes then still kind of hotter than new builds?
No, I wouldn't say that they're hotter.
No?
No, it's
Okay.
a very. I think more people when they're looking at properties are more apt to look for properties that are newer.
Okay. Okay.
There are a certain cohort of people that do love the older century homes.
Yeah.
And I listed one right by the courthouse in St. Thomas. It was listed, sold on the first day.
Oh, really? Wow,
yeah,
that
and
was fast.
because it was beautifully maintained,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it looked great,
That
and the
is a
bones
beautiful
were great.
area, though.
It was, yeah. It went really, really quickly.
Yeah.
But people don't like to, especially younger people, they don't want to get into an older home that's going to require,
Okay.
money to upkeep it, and
Okay.
insulation issues, potentially windows issues.
So we're talking maybe an older generation. Now, does also the area where they're coming from, so say GTA area sells there, they're coming here, are they the ones that kind of, the new subdivisions, the new homes, that's their area? The ones that are here that grew up in the rural, our history, that we know from growing in this area. So the older homes are kind of what we buy here?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
No,
Okay.
not necessarily.
So you do
We're-
get a lot of GTA people coming in with the old style homes? that
Both,
Like the,
both people from the
Okay.
GTA they're looking at everything from brand new builds, multi-generational family homes.
Okay.
They'll look at older homes if that's something that they prefer. I don't think really the area that they're coming from has much of an impact as
Okay.
as
I didn't know
what
if
their likes are.
geographical areas played a part in how people, because people choose to live in areas
Yep.
that suit them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, for
that's
sure,
why
for
I
sure.
thought, that if there's people in the city, there's big city people that they would never live here because this is too rural
Yeah.
for them,
Well,
right?
we're not
But-
seeing as
but-
many Toronto people come this way now either.
Okay.
We had during COVID, we had a lot of people that were told they were going to work from home.
Yes.
So they sold their homes in the GTAs for lots of money. They moved to our area and were able to buy what there would be a $2.5 million house for $800,000, and they thought they
Yes.
were in heaven.
Yes.
But now that COVID is over, we're finding that some of those people had to sell their home and move back to Toronto because they're being called back to the office.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're not seeing as much as that
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
We are seeing some investors come from out of town now, though, with the battery plant and things like that. They
Yeah.
for employment reasons they're getting here. And
See, I've had that already affecting us here in this building as the resident manager here. I have shielded phone calls from GT area and even at West that were inquiring about rental prices when, that they want to come down because of, they want to live in this area, but there's an opportunity now with if it's not the EV plant, but all the spin-off plants and stuff. I mean, we're going to have a lot of job openings.
for sure.
How long are they going to last? We don't know. That's
We don't
something
know.
that we're going to have to wait and see, right? But so you have seen the increase of people coming here, and now some of them have gone
Correct.
because of called back to the office.
Correct.
I do know a couple of people that still are here, but they work for companies in Alberta, but they're all remote.
Yep.
They moved from there back to Ontario, be with family. I mean, what an awesome way that you could apply to anybody anywhere in the world really during that time and could work for anybody
Yep, for sure.
as long as you were here. But now that they are calling, and I think it is a good idea to have people back. I mean, the surrounding businesses like us downtown, if we had main offices down there that were all empty and people are all back now, then all your little coffee shops and mom and pa shops, all that stuff that benefit by having people back at the workplace.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
So remote does work for some. I always said for a long time I couldn't work from home. It would drive me nuts. But yet, look at me.
Here you
I
are.
live in the building with, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
At least my
Yeah.
office isn't in my home. But
And that is one of the things now when I'm listing a property
Yeah.
is if it has a beautiful office space, it's something that I do focus on in the listings because there are so many people that do work from home now and they want a separate office.
Okay.
So that's something that I point out in most of my listings when,
Okay.
when they,
All right. So brand new couple. Boy grows up, boy meets girl, boy dates girl. A few years in it, then a boy marries girl. Want to start his family? Get a house. Okay, let's go buy property. I have no idea what I'm doing. Don't know anything about, market real estate, income properties, all that kind of stuff. We see lots of TV shows.
yeah.
A lot easier on the shows than what you see.
Yeah, you
Scott
got that
McGilvery makes things look pretty good. Brian Ballmer looks big.
Yep.
We all know Mike Holmes, and I
Yep.
know a lot of contractors can't stand Mike Holmes.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
like, yeah, well, it's easy for him to do this. But anyway, what would you say to somebody brand new? They're young, just married, they want to start the family. There's still the first time buyers program.
There
there
is.
still?
Yeah, there's a few out there.
Okay.
The first thing that they need to do is reach out to a mortgage broker.
Okay.
So they want to touch base with a mortgage broker. If they're not quite ready yet, that mortgage broker should help them come up with a plan. So, for example, the minimum requirement is 5% down on a purchase price.
Okay.
So they have to be able to
that's only
have
the
that
first
money
time.
put away. Nope, no, it's
Oh, is
5%
it?
for anybody.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah, and it all comes down to what their debt service ratio looks like.
Okay.
How much debt they have. It will have an impact on what they're pre-approved for, and what is required as a down payment. That's not my area of expertise, so I pass them on to a mortgage broker who that is their area.
So pre-approval is a great way to go.
Oh, that is absolutely the first step.
Okay.
If they want to get pre-approved.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Because then it kind of gives you an idea on what market you can look in for price.
Absolutely. Yeah. If they come back and say, okay, you're pre-approved for $600,000. Okay, great. Game on. We can start looking at houses. If they say currently you're pre-approved for $300,000, there's not much livable at that price point in the current market.
Right?
So they'll come up with a plan and help them and say things like, okay, you have this car payment that you're making that's $1,100 a month. You need to get rid of that car payment. So do what you can to save up your money, get rid of that car payment. That's going to increase your debt service ratio, which will get you more money on pre-approval. If they have help, so if they have parents that are willing to co-sign for them, that's going to be helpful with them being able to afford and purchase a home. If they have parental support that have good income, that's often the option that is required in today's market. A lot of those first-time young home buyers do need to have the parents on board.
Right. Well, that does make sense. Now, I have a couple of people that I grew up with when we were kids in Mitchell that he was very good with his money, really managed it. And, today he's paid off for years his property and expanded it, built a big shop, all kinds of things. He was lucky. He stuck it out. He did well. He put everything into it, paid it off quick. And I've always been a little envious of him, right? Because I'm like, he's got such a nice property. But I don't know how people can make it in today's world. When I saw those prices go, and it was like, wow. Now, what happened? Let's say, okay, there was a house for sale I saw a while back, a few years ago, Chestnut Street, and it was selling $154,000. Then when COVID and all that hit, that house went up to almost $400,000. Now, the thing was, and I have seen some now. So you came in, you bought that house at $395,000 at COVID, and now the market. Some of them, they haven't dropped a lot, but some have come down. Say that house was valued now at $350,000, and it's only been 5 years. For you to remortgage that again, would that not then they would take a look, say, okay, you paid $390,000, it's worth $350,000. You've only paid, say, $10,000 on this thing right now, just as an average. So that would leave. So it's valued at $350,000. You bought it at $390,000, so $380,000. So there's $30,000 difference right now.
Correct.
Does that then, when you come up for remortgage, have you heard, would the companies then say, well, for us to remortgage because your property is only valued here now, you're going to need to cover that $30,000 to get us to that level, and then we can remortgage? Because I heard some people now, because I don't know if it was true or not, but I heard some people were told that and they wound up selling.
It has been a problem.
Yeah.
So it has been a problem. The other thing that's been a bigger issue in the real estate world on my end is when you meet with people who bought during COVID and they want to sell now.
Okay.
And I have to have the conversation with them that in order for us to list your property, in order for it to sell, we have to be at market value, which is $30,000 less than you paid for it when you bought it.
Okay.
Well, in order for them to sell, they have to get enough funds to pay off what they owe.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So if they don't have those funds,
that's close to what I just said. Then
that's a problem, right?
Okay.
And because they're going to have to pay realtor fees, they're going to have to pay legal fees, and then they're going to have enough paid off, or hopefully they put enough down on the property when they initially bought it, that they can sell. Yeah.
Now, what was this whole explosion of real estate agents now? The last few years, you just see everybody, it's almost everybody who's a real estate agent.
There's
like, where did that come from? How did that at one time my dad was one many, many years ago, Mitchell, I'm talking the 70s. And it was a very, I don't know, it's still a respected job, don't get me wrong, but it would just seem they were more focused on as a very important thing to families because you didn't have that many, so you went around to who you needed. Now it's like, my God, they're everywhere.
There's a lot of real estate agents.
Yeah.
I think part of I get phone calls all the time from people that say, I really want to be a realtor. How'd you do it? What steps did you take?
Yeah.
So, I'll have that conversation with them.
And that's not easy, is it?
It's not easy. Like it was something like, I saw a stat that 79% of realtors in Ontario didn't sell a house last year.
Wow.
So there's a portion of real estate agents that do really well. Well, a lot of them are part-time.
Okay.
So they'll get their license, they'll become registered, but they won't sell. They won't do it full-time and eventually end up giving up their license. I had a couple of apprentices that talked to me about getting their license, and I had an honest conversation with them and said, it's not an easy job.
Okay.
You have to have a supportive family. Like, I'm very blessed that my wife knows that at any minute I'm canceling dinners. I might have to miss a kid's baseball game because an offer's come in and it's due. When we go on vacation, I'm working, so I bring my laptop. If offers come in, I'm dealing with offers. I sold 3 houses in Italy one year while I was on vacation. So you have to have supportive family as well, and not everybody is. So, it's not an easy job, and you do not get a day off. So when I go to bed, I turn my phone off at 11 p.m.
Yep.
I turn it back on at 6 a.m. And often I'll get up and have 5 or 6 messages that people had sent me from 11 till 6. Wow. So I get up in the morning, I respond to those, but you don't get a break.
And I would take it when you go to school to do the tests and all that stuff. You got to pay for that, right?
You do.
That's not, and that's probably not very cheap.
No, well, now it's a 2-year college program. Plus, you have your monthly fees. So you're looking at paying the Ontario Real Estate Association, the Canadian Real Estate Association, your insurance fees. So just to keep your license and keep active, you're $500 a month anyway in fees to pay out. So if you're not selling houses, then people aren't going to want to continue to pay that $500 a month. So a lot of people get their license, they don't continue to sell, and then they end up letting their license go.
Wow. Is it very cutthroat between real estate agents too, or do you guys all kind of work together too?
It's a little bit, it's an individual thing, to be honest. I personally, I'm happy for everybody's success. Okay. There's a lot of houses. There's a lot of great realtors in the city of St. Thomas. Yes. When there's I hosted a realtor open house today, and 5 realtors from other brokerages all came to show their support.
Oh, nice.
I go to realtor open houses whenever there's one and I'm able to go, I go. Because it's a good time to network. It's a good time to talk about listings you have coming up. It's a good opportunity to see houses that are on the market and what's available.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's, for the most part, the agents are pretty good, but there's some that, they keep to themselves, they do their own things, and that's totally fine. Okay. But everybody's
talk
different.
About seeing things. I've been seeing your billboards everywhere now lately. I've been going to Port and everything. Oh yeah. There's Jeff.
In front of Shaw's, I have the billboard there.
Yes, you do. Yeah, that's a trait. So All right, listen, we're up to 18, 19 minutes here. So,
Okay.
wow, I can't believe how fast this is going. I want to really talk about this HomeReady Pros.
Sure.
Okay. This thing is amazing because this is really going to help a lot of people. If you're currently in a home and you want to do some renovations, it doesn't matter from plumbing, electrical, painting, whatever.
Junk
roofing.
removal, trees
Yes.
removing. Yep.
Okay, there you go. So landscaping, junk removal. HomeReady Pros. So this is basically a one-stop shop that people can call you and they just basically tell you what they need and you tell us then what happens.
You're close, Tony.
Okay, good.
So what HomeReady Pros is, it's a website.
Okay.
So
We're not calling it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a website,
Okay.
and I woke up one night, and every time we go to appointments, my clients are always saying, "Do you know an electrician? Do you know a plumber? Do you have a flooring company? Do you have a stager? Like any trade that for buying and selling a house." So I give them names over and over and over again. And one day I woke up and I said to my wife, like, "What do you think about this as a business? I think we need to create a website that is local, vetted, and insured trades." Because I've also gone into clients' homes and they said, "Well, I hired a guy off of Facebook and this is what he did to my floor and it looks awful." And or I hired someone to put shingles on my roof that I found off Facebook and they took a $3,000 deposit and never came back.
Wow.
So what I do is if they want to join and become a part of HomeReady Pros, they go on to our site and they can click to sign in. I get notification that they've asked to join the site.
Okay.
If they're a plumber and I don't know the plumber and I know that I've never heard of the company before, I will ask them to send proof that they've got their ticket. I'll look up their company online. I'll read their reviews to make sure that they're a legitimate licensed plumber.
Yep.
At that point, I approve them to join HomeReady Pros. So they pay us an advertising fee to be on our site. So homereadypros.ca is essentially a one-stop shop billboard for anyone that's interested.
Okay.
So for community members in St. Thomas and Elgin County, if they're looking for a plumber, for example, they can go to homereadypros.ca. They'll click the Elgin County link and they'll scroll down until they find plumber. And then once they get to plumber, they click on the plumbing companies. They'll see, for example, Elgin County Plumbing is currently one of our plumbers on there. They'll click on their link. All of their contact info is there. So the consumer just calls them and says, "Hey, I'd like to book."
Okay, so it's free for me as a homeowner. I just go
Correct.
on your site and I look at everything. I don't have to worry about who these people are because you've already. So vetting, when you talk about vetting,
Yes.
that is people that you've already researched and
Correct.
verified that they are legit,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So, okay. All right. So it's free for me as
It's
a
free for
residential
you.
person, and I don't even have to talk to you. I could just,
No.
I could probably send a comment through if I want to.
So after you've hired a HomeReady Pro and they've gone in and done and have finished the work for you, you get to leave them a review on our site.
Okay.
So anybody that is
Okay.
used gets reviewed, and then the general public can see, okay, these guys did great work here. The trades are able to post pictures of some of their projects and some of the jobs they've done.
nice.
So you can see some of the kitchens, some of the bathrooms, some of the painting they've done. And, we've been really fortunate. We've only been active for about a month, and we have Doug Terry Homes as a homepage sponsor.
Nice.
MD Contracting. Like we've got some home hardware, some good, really good supports.
Yeah.
On there, and it's just
good.
there's no yellow pages anymore, so it's a great resource for people that live in Elgin and St.
No,
Thomas.
that's a great idea. So, okay, so we got a video here. We're gonna play it right now. So, take us in here, Jeff, and talk a little bit about what we're gonna be seeing, and we'll come back after the end of this. This is about 4 minutes or 4.5 minutes. So, what is this house? What's going on in the video? And let's take
Yep.
it here and give us a little intro.
Sure. So I bought this property with my partner Gavin White. He's the other partner with HomeReady Pros.
Okay.
And we purchased this home to do a HomeReady Pros Flip This House St. Thomas. So it's on Manor Road. We've hired all HomeReady Pros. So Tom Bames, the owner of MD Contracting, is acting as our general contractor.
Okay.
And he is hiring out only our team to do the plumbing, electrical, landscaping, decks, all the paint. We're painting the entire interior and exterior of the home. And the video we're going to be watching is my partner Gavin's going to kind of take you through the house before what it looks like. And then we've got some updates.
Okay. All right. So let's take a quick look at that video. It's about 4 minutes or so, and we'll come back, talk to Jeff after. Okay.
Hi, it's Jeff West from HomeReady Pros. My partner and I, Gavin White, we're in front of our newest property. We're going to be doing HomeReady Pros Flip This House St. Thomas. We started this company for our real estate customers. It is a business for trades. They can join our site at homereadypros.ca, and we are going to be providing a service to customers if they need vetted, licensed, and insured trades. We were just a little bit tired of our clients being ripped off by businesses that aren't legit, so we are welcoming any companies that are insured and licensed and registered to join our site. And we are going to be doing a HomeReady Pros Flip This property at 58 Manor Road in St. Thomas, and we plan to give you regular updates, and you'll get to meet some of our trades.
Hello, it's Gavin White doing the HomeReady Pros Flip This House, St. Thomas. We'll give you a walkthrough today, so let's go in. So one of our first plans is to level off the living kitchen area. So we'll be taking out this wall, installing an engineered beam. We'll be putting a subfloor in. We'll be putting all brand new flooring throughout. So our plan for the kitchen is to eliminate this wall, move all the cabinetry over to this side. We're going to put in a brand new quartz countertop island, built-in dishwasher, all upgraded countertops in the kitchen. So we'll have brand new layout. So walking down the hallway here, we'll notice we're going to put in all new flooring throughout on the main floor. We're going to remove the tiles in the bathroom, including the shower and surround, and put all new tile in there. The flooring will go into all the bedrooms. Everything will be freshly painted, all brand new trim. Popcorn ceiling will be gone. All new upgraded fixtures, lights and mirrors. All new doors. So now we'll continue on downstairs, which will continue with the new flooring throughout. The rec room down here, the brickwork on the floor will be removed with new flooring. All the wainscoting will be painted. The drop ceiling will be removed. Drywall installed. The bar will be removed. Everything freshly painted. Bedroom will have a egress window cut in. Laundry room will be updated and finished off. The downstairs bathroom will be a full reno. The shower will be gone, toilet, sink, everything will be upgraded. Great storage location, be finished off. Up to the new clients whether they want shelving, storage, turn it into a movie room. Options available.
Hi, Gavin and I really look forward to sharing our progress as we work our way through this project and introducing you to all of our trades that are going to be on board at HomeReady Pros. Again, we are welcome to take other trades in St. Thomas, and we are extending into Elgin County. Feel free to check us out at HomeReady Pros on Instagram, or you can go to www.homereadypros.ca for more information and get a list of our trades if you need any kind of work done on your property. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
All right, there we go. So there's that video. So Jeff, what did we just watch then? Like we saw your partner going all through and everything. So yeah, carry on here and let's talk about
Sure.
some of the
Where
updates
we're at?
in there. Yeah.
Okay, so I just came from the house.
Okay.
So we now have the wall has been removed in the kitchen.
Okay.
There's no more step down living room, so it's all been currently one level. It was like a 1970s where they had to drop down living room floor.
They
That's
call
a
them sunken rooms or something.
sunken
like that,
living
eh?
rooms. Yeah, so that's no longer sunken. It's all one
Okay.
level.
So you raised that.
Correct. So the team's there right now putting the beams in. We had engineered drawings done. It's all been permitted. We've got the electricians there right now. They're running all new wires. The decking company is going tomorrow to finish the deck and put in a fence. We've got a new kitchen going in. We should be probably another month or so before the flooring's done, the paint's done, and we'll have it listed up on the market.
So when it gets listed, it's HomeReady Pro. This is the owner of it, or is this?
It will be Jeff West and Gavin White from Street City Realty that will be listing and selling the house.
Okay.
Because we also belong to HomeReady Pros.
Yes,
it's our business.
that's your
so,
business.
yes,
Okay.
but we have only hired the local trades to do everything
so
from
it's-
bins, junk removal, everything. It's
That is
only been
cool.
HomeReady Pros.
Okay, so that's a great advertising and to kick off this. I think this is something that's amazing that so many people are going to get great advantage of this.
Yeah,
Especially
thank
if
you.
if you're trying to renovate. I mean, I worked for a long time at Gear Links out in the lumberyard. So
Yep.
renovations, new builds, used to be a load builder. So I've done the roof loads, floor loads, wall loads, shingles, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm certainly not, I guess, what would you say, a newbie when it comes to renovations,
yeah.
and building supplies. And a lot of people, we've even had contractors that come in that I used to go, wow, how did these people even get jobs?
Well, there's so many that are contracting companies that they're not.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
see it on Facebook every day.
Yeah.
On St. Thomas happenings, people posting, does anybody know an electrician?
You know, well, here, sorry, I just popped. So Mike Holmes always used to say about, inspections. Get your inspections, get whatever. And I don't know how many times I've watched his show where something major he had found. And was there home inspection? Yeah, there was. Why are those inspectors never held accountable? Because I do know some people here that had inspections done, really didn't mean crap, because they still wound up with some pretty big issues.
There's some really great home inspectors that are out there. It's like any line of work. You're gonna get good ones and you're gonna get ones that aren't great.
Do you have home inspectors?
I do. Yeah. I don't on HomeReady Pros.
Okay.
No, I have one. I have some that I recommend on a regular basis.
Okay.
The biggest problem with a home inspection is that they can't really open up walls.
That's true.
So
Yes.
you don't know what's behind the wall. Now they can use moisture detectors to check to see if there is any water behind the walls in the basements, for example, to know that there's water seepage coming in.
Okay.
But there's always going to be surprises. Like even on our HomeReady Pros flip, we did a thorough inspection when we brought the property, and there was some things that we didn't expect that have now been remedied. And it's like when you watch the shows on TV, there's always an issue.
Oh, yeah.
And you always think it's drama. But really...
Yeah, but they fix them in like 15 minutes.
They do.
I don't understand why it takes like 6 weeks to do a bathroom rental when, in even on an hour show, they've been done in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So. And people believe that.
Yeah.
Like
No,
they don't believe that it takes this amount, or this contractor's ripping me off because he's saying it's going to be 6 weweeks.
Yeah. If you want them to do a good job, it takes time.
And going out and getting a $6,000 kitchen renovation should be sending alarm bells off right there. I mean, a good kitchen reno, you're probably 35 to 50,000.
Correct.
I'm going to say.
Correct. And it depends too. Like you can budget a kitchen at 15 to 20,000 if you want to build all the cupboards and you want to do all the measurements yourself.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're going to hire like Gear Links or hire Casey's Kitchen or somebody like that to go in and do it, you're getting good quality and that it's going to take some time.
It's like Mennonite furniture. You want the stuff that's going to last, right?
Correct.
So, okay. Yeah, that's great, Jeff. What's a website that I, as a resident owner, can go to? What's
to
your
find
website
us.
for Home
It's,
Ready Pros?
yeah, it's www.homereadypros.ca.
Okay.
So
I'm
.ca
putting
is
that link
important.
up.
Yeah,
.ca,
not
not
.com.
.com.
So homereadypros.com is a guy from California, and he's like a jack of all trades.
Oh, is he?
So we bought the rights to homereadypros.ca
Okay.
because we think it's a great name for our
Have you
business.
talked to him?
I have not.
The other guy?
No, I
Probably
have
would
not.
be a cool thing.
Yeah,
to
have a
just say, hey,
conversation.
if you ever get, I'm sure somebody is going to use the .com.
Possibly,
And
yep.
maybe
Yep.
if I chat
Yeah,
with him, he
call
can
me.
say, hey, because it's like the years that I used to dispatch for Cox Cabs. And how many times I pick up the phone and say, good evening, Cox Cabs, can I help you? And they're, yeah, I need a cab at so-and-so. And I'm like, can you say that again? And they'd say another business name. And I'd say, are you in
The Virgin Islands?
Yeah. And they'd be like, yeah. Or and how I would go to that is I'd get lots of, don't you know your own city?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd say, are you in? And then they say, yeah. And that's where it was coming from, St. Thomas,
Yeah.
Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
And that they were using like that pound taxi or whatever it was called. And it was sending it up here to us
Oh, jeez.
for St. Thomas.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that happens a lot. So there you go. You might get somebody here and they're talking to him in California.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
for sure.
figuring out why this guy's acting the way he is.
Yeah,
when-
maybe I'll give him a call.
Yeah, you never know, right? So, all right, perfect. So let's come back. Let's come back another time and do some more, talk about this
I'd love
business
to.
if you can. And I think it'd be great. Is there anything you wanted to focus on? Did we catch pretty much?
I think we caught it
stuff
all.
there?
I think
Okay.
the one thing is that we don't want, like Gavin and I are trying to get the point across that we are not the contractors.
Okay.
This
yeah,
is we are not general contractors trying to subcontract people out. This is an advertising site
Okay.
that we are providing for customers.
So you are the hub
we are the
for
hub,
the trades,
for sure.
right? So you are providing the trades an area where they can all come and together and be one under one number that people can research and find. So,
That's it. That's exactly it.
and then they can go by going on. So they go to the alphabet list in there. They see, okay, I want soldery type plumbing,
Mm-hmm.
and they can go down, click on them, and then see the reviews, see their pictures, whatever. And
Yes.
then they can go through and then pick who they. Especially if they don't know, if they're new to the area, they don't know anybody, right?
Yep.
I've always
That's
told people, go down to like Your Links Home Hardware, talk to them there. They will always tell you the trades that come in and deal with them.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Tony, is we did hear that at the home show a lot from people that have moved here from out of town, and they're like, we know no one.
Yeah.
And we don't
Yeah.
know who to call. Well,
Yep.
you can go to homereadypros.ca and find legitimate companies that are going to show up. They're
Cool.
going to give you the quote, and they're going to do the work.
All right, so let's spread the word. HomeReady Pros. So, all right, folks, thanks. And we're going to get Jeff back in again at another time, and we'll get an update. We'll talk a little bit more about some real estate stuff and how the market, if it's been changing. We'll see if Jeff's actually talked to the guy in California. Maybe you take a trip down there and go talk to him.
Hey, there you
Okay?
go.
Turn it into a business
I like it.
expense.
I
How's
like
that?
it.
All right, Jeff.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Let's do some updates and find out what's going on.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care, folks. Stay tuned, and we're going to see who we have coming up in another future show. You never know who's going to come on here. Everybody likes to get the full Monty on. All right. Take care.
Welcome to HomeReady Pros, your trusted hub for connecting with skilled, reliable local tradespeople. Whether you are upgrading, repairing, or getting your home market ready, we've got the pros you need, all in one place. Let's face it, finding the right help can be frustrating. Endless online searches, outdated reviews, missed calls, and surprise fees sound familiar. HomeReady Pros changes the game. We make it easy to browse vetted trades, compare reviews, and contact them directly. No middlemen, no hidden costs. Just real connections with real professionals. Here's how it works. Step 1. Browse local, trusted service providers. Step 2. Check reviews and choose who fits your job. Step 3. Connect directly and get the job done. It's that simple. From plumbers and painters to cleaners, roofers, and landscapers, whatever your project, HomeReady Pros has the right expert, ready to go. And it's not just for homeowners. Tradespeople love it too, because they keep 100% of their earnings, control their own profile, and connect directly with local customers looking for their services. So whether you need a project done or you're a skilled pro, ready to grow your business, visit HomeReadyPros.ca today and join the network that works for everyone.